Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Ask Cher Live. And as usual, I am always excited to be broadcasting to you live on a Tuesday, 3:30. That seems to be the new time. If you're liking that time, let me know because I'm kind of feeling it. I don't know about you. Today's episode, if you have ever feared building the brand while being corporate, this is the episode you cannot afford to miss. Like, you need to watch this and then rewatch this and then maybe even watch it again. This is definitely one you want to save for the books because there are so many people who are actually fearing building their brand because when they're in corporate, they're afraid that they're going to attract so much attention, which would be a good thing, right? But maybe not, that their brand can get in the way. Is that a thing? Or what can you do to mitigate that? That's what we're going to be talking about today. In the meantime, I want to know, are you team live or are you on the replay? Because it doesn't matter what team you're on personally, but I love to know who's watching live, who tuned in, who's watching the replay, where you're from. Let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to dive into those comments. You know how I always do. I get into those comments. I love talking with you guys. But this topic right now is so incredibly hot. Like next level hot. So I wanted to make sure that we make the time for it. So I'm going to be checking in on the comments in just a second. But first of all, I need to make sure, am I broadcasting? Yes, I am. I see viewers. Yay. It's so funny. When you are broadcasting live, you're always wondering, am I going? But you got to keep going. So for those of you livers out there, you got to keep going. And then you kind of just slyly check and trust the tech. All right, so we're going to jump into this topic. And for those of you who are waiting on for my scroll stopper, let me tell you, this scroll stopper is hot, like fire hot. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. And of course, in Tap That App, 2Ps, I'm going to show you an incredible way to post on Instagram, especially if you have a business account on Instagram. And this is game-changing for me personally, so I just want to let you guys know about this availability, so stay tuned for that. But again, right now, are you afraid of branding yourself while being corporate, branding yourself at work because it might bring too much attention? Do you need to learn how to brand yourself the right way in order to do that? Because let me tell you, I was away at an event for Lead 360. Let me just show you what I was at on the weekend. And one of the things what came up is that fear of branding yourself or fear of getting your brand becoming too big that is attracting so much attention. So what is happening now is a lot of people are leveraging the power of personal branding because it works. And then all of a sudden people start looking and they're like, well, why is this person getting this opportunity? Why is this person being considered for an award? Well, because they're attracting attention with their brand. And usually these people are doing it with the business in mind, with the company in mind. It's not self-serving, but part of the fear around that. And so let's first dispel the myths or the fears. They are legitimate, but don't let them hold you back. So one of the things that happens when people brand themselves is the fact that they feel their brand is overshadowing the company, or people are starting to talk about them because they're getting so much attention. But let me tell you, this happened way before social media, so don't blame it all on social media. This happened if there are people in a company who are, why does everybody know them? Why are they getting considered? Why, Mr. Anderson? For all you Matrix fans. So seriously though, they're wondering, and this is literally a glitch in the Matrix, when somebody's standing out and all of a sudden people are talking about them and then the haters come out. It's a thing. And then there's a lot of fear around what this looks like. And the other conversations that were happening were around, well, is this person leveraging this company in order to build their personal brand? I think it's I think it's a win-win situation for both, and I'm going to dive into why. But before I do that, let me check into the comments, guys. Let me see what people are saying. And we've got Lydia. Hey. Oh my gosh. You know, guys, Lydia even sent me a reminder about my timer. And I put it up. I had it ready this time, Lydia. I had it ready. And you sent me the reminder. And I love the eyes there. Timer. Yes. Timer. Thank you, guys. And Gary's here, Team Live from the UK. Lauren's here, Team Live. Salute to Carl, T.S. Jackson. All right, my Team Livers are here. Marlo from Virginia. Patricia's in Vegas. Keith's in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Linda saying the broadcast is perfect. Gladys is Team Live. Linda's Team Live. Thomas, yes, Team Live, and loving the fact that I'm going at 3:30. You guys are the best. And let's see, Gurpreet, you guys are all so awesome. And I love Marlo's answer. She's like, I'm not afraid. Others are intimidated by my drive to move forward for myself. And that's the thing. It's not just personal branding. Personal branding is just a tool to move forward. The minute you start grabbing attention, the minute you start getting noticed, people are going to start talking anyway. But you layer in the fear of leveraging social media to develop your personal brand. It kind of gives it's like fuel to the fire. Well, she's using social and we don't do that around here. And as someone, so those of you who don't know me very well, and I know a lot of you do, and I thank you so much for showing up every week, I am a corporate social media trainer, and I specialize in helping professionals in corporate environments leverage their personal brand for work to do work. Leverage it, whether they're in sales or whether they're in HR, whether they are a subject matter expert. We all need our personal brands to stand out and do business. And as well, they are incredible tools. But the problem is, again, there's a lot of fear around social media. But what I'm going to show you today are ways that you can circumvent that fear, ways that you can build it in so it actually works for you. So as you continue to get this attention, get noticed at your company, on your team, within your entire organizations, you're going to, in your industry, I'm going to show you how you can fold it in so it makes sense. And yes, take that attention. It's positive attention. Take that opportunity. Because here's the thing. This is one of the things that came up in the conversation that we were having here, is that no matter how hard you work, you don't just get attention if you just keep your head down and do good work. We're no longer are people just being recognized. And can I get a witness? Just by doing your work, working hard, that doesn't equal attention as we thought it once did. So let me give you another tool for your belt as far as how you can get noticed and create the opportunities and do work really well leveraging social media and your personal brand. So I'm going to jump into my tips right now. And here's the question I want to ask you guys. Some of you have already started to answer it in the comments, which is dope, and I appreciate that. So some of the questions I want to ask you right now one of the questions, are you intimidated by the idea of branding yourself at work? For those of you who don't want to write it in the comments below, or you just want to show some love with the thumbs up for the yes, you are intimidated, or no, clap my hands for my brand. But let me know, and I'll definitely be watching this later to see the volume of all of you guys just participating in this, and I really love it and I appreciate it. So I do want to know, are you intimidated or not? Because it's a real legitimate fear. I have spoken with high level leaders, executives who are saying, no, when I branded myself and my brand grew beyond the company, heads started turning, and not in a good way. So what I want to do is to make sure that as you leverage your personal brand for work, here are some strategies that you can use right now. So let's talk about that. So, you know what? Look at this. Didn't update my little tiny graphic there, but it's like we're talking about branding here. So no, not social trends, but that's okay. All right. So the first one is when you are developing your personal brand, and you've decided that you are arming yourself with this tool for success in the role that you're in right now and where you're going in your future, the one thing you need to know is it's really important to align yourself with your company's goals and values. Because when you know what it is they want to accomplish and you can align your brand with that goal, now all of a sudden you guys are working together. So those goals usually come out in team meetings, in town halls, in reports. So like the annual reports, they're pretty much everywhere of what you guys want to accomplish. They may even come out in performance review and evaluations and all that stuff. What is it your team is trying to accomplish? What is it your division, your entire company? Are they sales goals? Are they talent attraction goals? Are they building a better culture? Look at where they're putting their money and their mouth into as far as what's coming your way. And then that will help you, because if you watched last week's episode and the week before about becoming an asset, leveraging your personal brand, you know that you can create content or you can create the network to build this, to build on their goals as well. So if you know their goals and start to align your branding goals with their goals, it becomes very clever. All right. So next tip that I want to give you is make sure that is not that the profile, especially the profile that you create on LinkedIn, is service centric. So it's not self-serving, but it tells people what you do and how you help at the company that you work for, so that people know that it doesn't make you look like this, I'm trying to be a rock star here. And there's no problem with being a rock star, in my opinion, but you got to know how to coach it in the right way. So you want to create a service-centric profile. So when I look you up, I know the role it is you're doing now. I know what you're doing to help. I know how I can refer you or talk about you in a meeting as far as the work that you're working on. And it's not just all about you. It's about the company you're working for. You'll notice that what we're doing here is balancing, because again, this is all about leveraging your brand as a tool to excel at work. And it's not just about advancement. It's about how you're leveraging social media and your personal brand to excel in the job that you're in right now. There are so many tactics and strategies that I work with teams, and I teach them how to do it so social media makes sense for them. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. And let me just jump in the comments here just to make sure y'all are no questions in the meantime about this. This is like the worst part. I can't wait till we all get it together and we can see comments live as they happen. Lots more team lives. I see a lot. Kareem's not intimidated at all. Not worried by the haters either. I love it. Linda says she was challenged when she was working in corporate. So this is a legitimate thing. I love the fact that you guys are chiming in saying, no, this is real. And Patricia says, no, other people have scared me by telling me I can't get ahead by doing so. Patricia, this broadcast is for you, because we're going to watch how you can weave these personal branding goals into what you're doing. So again, knowing what your company wants to accomplish and leveraging that within your plan. And two, that service-centric profile. So it's not a me-centric profile. It's what I do to help. What I do to help my team, what I do to help my clients, what I do to help the company, my role in all of that. That's what I want to know. So then again, I know that when I'm looking you up, I can talk about you and what you do at the company you work for now. So most people, they usually have, they look as good as the last job they applied for, but I don't know what they do now. So game changes everything. All right. So the next thing is, and this is right here, this is the moneymaker. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Get buy-in via your performance plan. So right now, you probably have already started or you're continuing to work on your performance planners. What's next year looking like for you and your goals? This is where you can have the conversation with who you report to. This is where you can say, I want to leverage my personal brand online so that we, the royal we, can accomplish this, and that. For some people, in my opinion, as a leader, if you are a leader in the space, one of the things that you want to make sure is that you're creating a brand that people want to work for. So that it's like, I want to work for Patricia, for example. I want to work for you. I believe, trust in your brand. I trust in how you manage and what you do, or work with. So it could be either work for or work with. But that's the kind of brand that you want to create, so that someone knows that when they come to you, they can get the job done. And there's so many ways that you can do this in the way that you are creating content, or perhaps there are part of your performance plan is, how can we get this done quicker? Well, and it's what you want to accomplish. So in that sense is, who do I need to know? Who do I need to build relationships with? And I'm going to leverage my personal brand as a part of building those relationships with, so that they trust me. They see my knowledge, they see my expertise, they see my network, and this helps me get things done faster. And it could be more in a sales process, or it could be more in as if you're a subject matter expert and you are sharing things around a product, around a philosophy, around whatever it is, team building, whatever it is, but I want you to build it into your performance plan. So, and directly tie it to the things that you have to accomplish in your role anyway. Social media and your personal brand, when you start to look at it as a tool to get things done, game changing. So I want you to keep that in mind. All right, so the third, okay, I'm not doing that bad for time. All right, that's what I say right now. All right, execute the plan. So this is where the pedal hits the metal. A lot of people, they talk a good game, they're thinking about it, but then when it comes to actually being social, they don't execute. Sometimes it's out of fear. Sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, if I put stuff out there, I might look silly or whatever. You need to actually execute on what you're talking about. And does this plan absolutely mean that you need to be creating content? Absolutely not. While content is a powerful, incredible tool, and thought leadership is an incredible tool, you can also use this as a relationship building tool as well, and a credibility tool. Doesn't mean you have to be out there posting all the time. It's about, what's your strategy to build the relationships you need to get your work done, or the visibility you need to attract more people like you into the company, onto your team. Is it people trusting you faster because they see you and they know you and they like you? You know, that whole know, like, and trust factor. It's a thing. But you got to execute the plan, and it really depends on what you want to accomplish. And for those of you who are creating content, sometimes we get intimidated by putting stuff out there, but over time it matters. It's about showing up. It's about the relationships you build. And you have to remember as well, as an employee, your brand becomes a lot more powerful once you're using it regularly. Because if you are regularly online building relationships, your brand becomes a distribution channel for content. Things that you can share that's going on in your company, whether it's you engaging with leadership, whether it's you engaging with what's going on with what marketing is creating. There are so many things that you can do, but at the end of the day, you have this plan. Now you need to execute the plan. Okay? And then the next one that I want to give you guys is track. This is the money maker right here, my friends. And this is where I want to make sure that you guys are constantly tracking your results. Okay? So if let's say, for example, you go and speak at an event and all of a sudden you get this many more people following you, knowing about your team, asking about, where do I apply? Because if, let's say, for example, one of the things that your company wants to do is attract more women, attract more people of color, attract more experts in this space. And you are bringing them in because you're attending the right events, you're bringing people along, or perhaps you share a piece of content that does really well. Or perhaps there's so many ways that you can look at it. Perhaps you've met new clients. Perhaps you are now speaking at an event that is bringing your company a lot more attention. Those are all things that matter. And then you track the opportunities. Perhaps you made inroads with somebody in a different side of your company. And now all of a sudden things are happening a lot quicker because of these relationships, right? Or creating partnerships or making introductions. All of these things, you guys see what I'm going here with? It just depends on the individual roles. So when I'm working with teams and helping them develop their personal brand action plan for work, these are the things that we start to dive into, right? And then we also work on their positioning through customer-centric profiles. And it all starts with knowing the goals for the company, knowing the goals for yourself. So all these things, especially when you're getting the buy-in and then you're executing and then you are tracking the metrics, the results, it makes for a great conversation because now people are talking about you in an incredible way. They're talking about what you're doing, and it's harder for it to appear self-serving when you have a plan in place with buy-in. And sometimes I know some of you guys are out there, and yes, there should be a part of you that is winning as a result. This is a win-win situation, and that's what I want you guys to remember. It's all about winning. So what I want to know right now is, what do you guys think about this? Are these things that you can do, these 5 easy steps? It's not that deep. It's totally doable. Okay, so I'm just going to see what everybody's saying here. And let me see if I've got updated. And so Patrick has a great question for me. What is the biggest social you see today? Let me see. You see today that we are not engaged in enough. So the platform. So I'm going to get back to your question in my Q&A section, Patrick, I promise, because there are some opportunities that I think that everybody needs to engage in. So I'll make sure I make time for that, answering that question. But let me know. What do you guys think? Show me some love. Show me some hearts. I like hearts. I love applause. I love likes. Whatever it is. Do you guys resonate with these tips? I know they're high level at this point, but I want you to start thinking. I want you to start, how can you leverage these into your game plan for your personal brand at work? These work. Trust me if you do the work. So that's what I want you to be thinking about. And of course, guys, if you want more information on this, get on my A-list. Seriously, this is what it's all about. Just go to just-share.com. I'll make sure that you guys get the updates. I'm going to be starting that in January because, who needs another email right now? But I do want to let you guys know that this is going to be starting in January. I'm going to give you tips that are exclusive to my A-listers. So the wrap up on these shows with extra tips that you can start leveraging. So if you're not on my A-list, seriously, what are you waiting for? Seriously, I always hook up my A-listers, and you're going to see that come January. Okay, so remember that. All right, so next up, I am excited, my friends, to share with you today's scroll stopper. All right, and we are going to go full screen for this right now, and it is brought to you by Nick F. Nelson, the brandpreneur who puts you into your brand. He's one of LinkedIn's top personal branding voices. He is an incredible photographer. He's incredible at capturing your brand for business. And guess what, guys? I had the opportunity while in Atlanta to work with him. And we created magic with my brand. For those of you who haven't seen the video yet, you definitely want to see it. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. All right. So this is the video. Hot to death. Fire. This is what he created. And what it is, and let me just bring y'all up here. First of all, he has a thumbnail on his video. So let's talk about this for a second. If you are creating videos on LinkedIn, the first thing I want you to remember to do is your first 2 frames, the first little tiny second, right at the beginning of your video, shouldn't be your video just rolling in. Put what they call a thumbnail. They use it on YouTube. Basically, it's an image, a still image, because that's the first thing that you will see in the news feed. So you want to make sure that it attracts attention. So he sure did attracts attention with me. All right. So, but here's what he does really well, and Nick is just a superstar at doing at this, is he highlights his client. And really, quite frankly, he's talking and he does such a great job. It's like, can we talk about me for a second? No, really. Can we talk about me for a second? Because that's what he did. He talked all about what I'm doing, right, while creating this brand experience video. And so he has a great write-up, and let me go back into that. And basically says, when it comes to branding, not everyone needs to start from scratch. Some people have done the work establishing their professional reputation and just need a good old-fashioned level up. This was the case for the remarkable, yes, remarkable, okay, we'll go back. Cher Jones, the socially savvy CEO of Socially Active Training. And if you're on LinkedIn, he goes on to talk about the fact that if you're on LinkedIn Live, you just see my show. And I just needed a re-up on my imaging. My pictures were kind of, they're kind of weak. And Nick leveled me up. It was time for me to change my pictures, gone through some, I'm still going through some more transformation in appearance and whatever. And just, I wanted to make sure that, I look fresh to death online as I go into 2020, really with my brand in hand. So what Nick did really well is he highlights his client, but what he's also giving you is a case study of my needs, where I'm at, and each client is different. Each client will have their own brand need, but what happens in his network, his clients will see themselves in the different people that he's highlighting. So the next thing that he does really well, if you guys have seen the video, he shows the experience. If you've seen any of his brand day videos, basically what he's doing is showing his clients what it's like to work with him. And that's what's so exciting about this, is you actually get to see what it's like. And I mean, you watch any of his brand day experiences, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that looks like so much fun. And that's what the comments were talking about. So you guys have to definitely, whether you're watching on if you go check back in my posts or go on Nick's page, check out the video. It was really awesome. And what I love about his post is he's not shy, nor should you, about asking for the business. So he brings it, we are weeks away from the new year, and as you break out your vision boards, be sure to include your vision for your brand and allow Brandpreneur to partner and help you figure out what's your strategy, what's your look, what to say, and ultimately get your look together, get that image going. So he has a call to action for business. And here's another thing. With me, and this is a strategy, so if you were using this strategy, if you're saying, you know what, I'm going to co-create content with my clients to showcase the experience. So I'm speaking out the strategy right here. Showcase the experience, and also highlight my client. But he does a good job. If you guys watch the video, he does a really good job of highlighting both him and me at the same time. So it's not self-serving, but it's not totally about the client either, which I think when you are creating, I'm a little blurry, let me fix that. Okay, so when you are creating that kind of content, you want to make sure that that there is a good balance, and I think he does that well. So let's talk about that. I'm going to jump into the comments right now, see what you guys are thinking. So let's take a look. And a lot of people saying they've seen it. Oh, Koga's saying, I love your presentations. Thank you. And Marcello says, hello. Thank you. Let me see. So I love Barbara, what she's saying. Show up, build relationships, share your content, and keep track of the correlation between your event and new followers. Great advice. Thank you so much for wrapping that up, Barbara. That looks awesome. And Eric says personal branding has a corporate benefit. Going back to the previous topic, that big brand fear. There's such a benefit to it, and it's when you can articulate the benefit and your brand in the same sentence, that, my friends, is winning. Okay, so rebrand all the time. Yep. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. So I'm going to jump back into these comments later because I'm trying to stick with 30-ish minutes. We'll see how that goes. All right. So, what do you guys think of that scroll stopper, by the way? If you haven't seen it yet, I know a lot of people are saying they've seen it. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. And Marlo says, I've shared metrics with my guest speakers on my platform so they can leverage that information for themselves as well. That's important. So even, you know what? Nick even asked me, he's like, make sure you track, he needed to ask because I love tracking things, but he's like, make sure you track to see like how many opportunities came through these videos directly. I was thirsty. Okay. All right. So let's see. Oh, Marlo, you're awesome. Another problem is that many of these leaders are not following the trends of positive social media. Yo, Marlo, that is totally it. And that, to me, I know I'm jumping back and forth. Can't help myself because the comments are delayed. So I like dive back into the comments when I can. But going back to what I was talking about before, that's a lot of the problem is that most people don't know how to leverage personal branding properly. They don't know how to leverage social media properly because they haven't been taught. This is not like something you take in school. Here's how to brand yourself. I literally made up my career 7 years ago. Like made it up. There were no forefathers of personal branding teachers. You know what I'm saying? Especially with social media. It just wasn't a thing. I've been making it up. I'm not the only one. But what I do is teach people how to feel confident and be effective using their social media and their personal brand at work for work. Because most people, they just don't know how to do it. I'm not happy with it. I see my camera like not being all clear. Anyways, doesn't matter. Co-create. Yes, Carlton, absolutely. You definitely want to co-create. So going back to Nick's awesome video about moi. All right. So as I had all the time in the world and then all of a sudden I don't. So let me talk to you guys about Tap That App, 2 P's. Tap that app with 2 P's. Okay. So we're going to jump in right now. If you manage, hope you like this because I really like this. If you manage an Instagram for business, so an Instagram business page, did you know that Facebook now allows you to upload from Creator Studio? This is a new thing. So all you have to do is you just have to go to facebook.com/Creator Studio. And as long as your account is a business account, so let's say, for example, you have a personal figure account, as long as it is a business account that you can now upload, for example, the reason why I'm so excited about it is you can upload video to your Instagram account directly from Facebook. So this is huge. They've only released this not too long ago, so I just want you guys to be aware of it. And so you can manage your entire Instagram account from facebook.com/Creator Studio. So definitely check that out. And that's it for Tap That App. Going back into my A's to your Q's, I am really frustrated with my camera today. Let's see. See? I'm trying to make it like focusing on me, but it's not. Okay. I'll deal with it later. Anyways, yes. So there was a question before from Patrick. What is the biggest social issue you see today with or platform that we see today, IT that we see today that we're not engaging enough with? Really depends on your strategy. I mean, a lot of people are starting to talk about TikTok. It's fascinating, love it, but I can't prioritize it over other things. Certainly, go grab your name, because we don't know where it's going. But I don't need to plant a flag in that network necessarily. But for me right now, I see the 1-2 punch for me, and I've been saying this for a while, is LinkedIn and Instagram. The relationships I build, the LinkedIn is the place where people want to have this conversation, where they want to talk what I want to talk about. But Instagram is where I get to create the relationships. And I find that my relationships that I bring over from LinkedIn to Instagram go a lot further. a lot further because I get to talk to them on a non-business level. I get to engage directly with them, and I show them behind the scenes stuff so they always see that I'm working. So that would be my recommendation. Are there other platforms? It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish for you. Because you're an author, a thought leader, you still need to have a presence on Twitter. It's just, you got to decide whether you can or not. Or you can use what I call a redirect strategy. My timer's going to be up. I'm stealing time. Sorry. We're claiming some time. I'm sorry. But what I suggest people who are on other networks and they use it more as a tool. So for example, Twitter, you're only there when you go to events or mentioned in the media, that sort of thing, because it still is an awesome tool. You can, in your bio, redirect them to where the action's at. So I have an old Twitter account and I redirect people to my more active Twitter account. And I've worked with some clients where I help them write in their bio, follow me where all the action's at on Instagram, because and it just lets people know where you really are. Okay. And yes, Patricia says creating a brand that people want to work for, 100. That's so true. Even if as a leader, if that's your main goal this year, now you got to think about how can you create a brand around that and how are you winning with that metric. Okay, and Thomas Heath, also another personal branding expert and my friend, says building a brand that draws positive attention to your employer is nothing but a win-win. That's what I'm saying. It's nothing but a win-win. Okay, you guys have been awesome in the comments and I so appreciate you. So let's talk about what's coming up next. But before we do that, you've been tuning in for so long. Can we just talk about this for a second? Sharing is caring. So at the conclusion of this broadcast, I'd ask that if you found that this gave you value, that you learned something, or you think somebody in your network needs to see this, but needs to hear this message, I ask that you share it. That would be awesome. For many reasons. It helps me, but it also helps your network. And I'm sure one of those reasons, hopefully, encourage you to share. And I do appreciate that. And as the holidays are coming up, no one's going to be watching this next week, Tuesday. Is it like the day before Christmas? I think it is. So I probably won't be broadcasting next week or the week after. We'll figure that out. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But I will be putting out content either way. So look out for that. And the New Year's, I'm really going to help you guys in the New Year break down how you can track your metrics, how you can position yourself. Really, as I head into the new year and as I really focus what I'm doing on the corporate training side and really helping corporate professionals brand themselves at work for work. You'll be getting a lot more tools in that space. And also for entrepreneurs, consultants who work directly with traditional corporate, oftentimes conservative brands, and they need to brand themselves for corporate as well. This is where it's at. This is what I do. This is what I help people do. So with that, I would like to say happy holidays. And for those of you who celebrate, Merry Christmas. I wish you guys the most awesome time over the next 2 weeks. And as you plan and vision for 2020, I look forward to seeing your brands blowing up online. And the new year is going to be hot and spicy. And it's going to be amazing this 2020. So make sure that you're on the mailing list. So, because I'm creating a few things that I know that are exclusive. Like I said, exclusive to my A-listers, just.share.com, that you want to get on so that you got the tools to build your brand. Because my job right now with these episodes like this is just to build my trust and my credibility with you, so that when there's having conversations in the workplace about needing training for social media, who do you think of? That's right, your girl right here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you and all that you do. And it's definitely a privilege to create this content for you. And thank you so much. So thanks for watching. I'll see you online. And that's me again. But now what I wanted to show you is this girl. All right. Bye guys. A-list, just.share.com.